Episode 1 Legacy, Brownstone Island. On Brownstone, work isn't just a way to earn a living, it's a matter of survival. Even when day drew on to evening and the ocean quenched the sun that reddened the necks of sailors and laborers, there was still the work of pleasure. Flickering lights popped on in the various bars, the noise of industry replaced by the sounds of clinking glasses and bawdy laughter. Music crackled from half-working radios as the nearby irradiated reef interfered with the signal. But in the shadowy halls and basements, there was another sort of work being done. Oh, yes. I know you can probably guess what kind. During an evening very much like this one, Vera Griswold, the de facto matriarch of the Griswold family, who all but ruled Brownstone Island, found herself in one of these bleach-smelling basements. She wasn't beautiful. Beauty was too soft a thing to call her. She was all sharp edges with armor crafted like jewelry. Her gray hair was pinned into a bun, a practical style for the island. It had taken her years to get where she was. Griswold was a name that was feared on the island, but reputation isn't everything. Other families had begun to gain power and prestige, and Vera, clever Vera, was there to stop it. A trade deal with the mainland suddenly belonged to Vera after a polite after-hours conversation. A piece of land that suddenly became available was sold to the Griswolds after some intense negotiation tactics on Vera's part. As she grew older, Vera realized that maintaining power was harder than expected. Under Griswold guidance, the island had flourished and grown, its influence spreading like curling vines across the wailing shores. But with this growth came competition. Vera realized that the Griswolds couldn't just be a bloodline. The family had to be an institution, a wall against the tide. And so she convinced her father for it to be more acceptable to bring in members from the outside. Talented people who excelled in their fields, shipwrights and tacticians and masons and politicians. Anyone who could manage people well and provide an area of expertise that the Griswolds didn't already have. Their influence grew, and Vera, clever Vera, soon set her sights on the largest competition of all, the island of Saltpier. Which is why she found herself in a basement this evening. Next to her was her ever-loyal friend and mercenary for many years, Weil. A strong man with years of sailing under his belt, Weil had retired from being a captain to being a bodyguard for the Griswold family about a decade ago. As they waited, Vera spoke to Weil in her clipped tone, making sure she didn't sound too annoyed.
How long did he say he would take?
Weil was never much one for a lot of words, or even a few words, but he responded in a professional manner.
He said, not long.
As if on cue, a small, slim man walked through the back door of the basement. His hair was slicked back, and he removed a pair of goggles from his eyes. Vera glanced towards his hands and noted that the gloves on them were covered in blood. Sorry. A doctor's work is never done. He reached out as if to offer to shake Vera's hand, quickly noticed his gloves, and then began the process of removing them. Didn't mean to keep you waiting. I know your time is, important. Vera moved to stand and, after the man removed his gloves, gave his hand a firm shake.
Not at all. In some ways, you're doing me a favor by meeting me, Dr. Warden. But you are right, I do have limited time, so let's go ahead and get down to business.
Dr. Warden stared up at Vera and gave her a sly grin before moving to a small table in the corner. Business it is. I like a woman who knows what she wants. So, are you sure the Griswolds want to get in this sort of trade? I didn't think they'd want to,
Don't worry about that, Dr. Warden. The fact is, we've always had a hand in necrology. It's just we've recognized the splicers can offer us something that we don't currently have.
Of course. No offense meant. He reached into a drawer and pulled out a sheaf of papers before responding. Just need you to sign here and here once you've read it over. Take your time, no rush. Vera did take her time, her eyes scanning over the contract, pen pausing at certain locations as she examined the words. Finally, she signed her name. As soon as she did, Dr. Warden snatched the papers up, sly grin spreading across his narrow face. Very good. I'll pass these off to my assistant and we'll file them away. Pleasure doing business, as always. I'll have them stop by with the schedule.
Please do. Make sure they know to use the delivery door.
Oh, don't worry. We have it all handled. Biles is young, but very discreet.
Wonderful. Have a lovely evening, Dr. Warden.
Vera stood to leave, sensing Weil at her back as she moved toward the door. Dr. Warden scampered ahead to open it for them, and they exited into the night air, the smell of bleach and copper replaced by the scent of brine. They had walked for about 5 minutes before Weil said quietly,
You sure about this, boss?
Vera remained silent for a few more steps before responding.
I'm sure.
I'm just not sure you thought through all the...
Weil, have I ever told you what it's like to be a mother?
When Weil didn't respond, Vera continued.
There is this urge to leave something for your children. When I brought Etheria into this world, Brownstone was an afterthought on the Wailing Shores. Now we have an opportunity to surpass Saltpier. I will leave a lasting legacy for my children, Weil. And yes, it is risky, but the risk is worth it.
Weil remained quiet, and Vera, for all her certainty in her position and power, became slightly concerned that she may have offended her old friend. She was about to speak again when Weil stopped and snatched Vera's arm. There was silence at first, and then Vera heard it, the sound of shuffling footsteps, the sound of someone trying to be quiet. Without a word, Weil unholstered his gun and cocked it. To some, this may have seemed like an overreaction, but Weil had defended Vera from no less than 3 different hitmen at 3 different points in their years together. Vera's hand went toward the knife at her belt. The quiet of the night split apart like a thunderclap. Gunshot rang through the air, and Weil shoved Vera down as he whipped around and returned fire, using his body as a shield as he pushed her towards a nearby building. There was a sound of breaking glass, and Vera tumbled, hissing out in pain as knees met stone. She whipped around, knife out, and watched as Weil continued to return fire to their unknown attacker. She was about to unholster her own gun to help when out of the corner of her eye, she saw a shadow move. She turned to the side and held up her hand as a knife sliced down. Vera cried out in pain as blood spattered the ground as the knife slashed through her hand. Weil jerked around, eyes wide, and that's when the bullet took him through the chest. Vera watched as Weil stumbled, grasping at his chest and falling to his knees before his body gave out entirely. Vera screamed and thrust her knife at the second assailant. They jumped back, wiry body and masked face melding with the darkness. Vera lunged and her knife met flesh. Warm blood slicked her hand and they tumbled. She stabbed again and again and again, letting her rage fuel her as she continued to scream until the person was no longer moving, until they were just meat rotting on the ground. Vera gasped for air, hand stinging, and heard another shot ring out behind her. Vera ran.